took her down. I held her in my arms on my lap, and they put a little mask over her face. And because she was a bit woozy, she didn't really kick up a fuss about it. And she was probably out stone cold within about 30 seconds. And then I had to hand her over, which was really difficult. But the team were, sorry about that interruption. The team were absolutely fantastic. I trusted them implicitly. I looked every single one of them in the eye. There were 6 of them. And I said, thank you. I trust you, and I'm going to hand my most precious, precious baby over. Of course, I burst into tears, and that's perfectly normal and fine. And then the nurse walked me back up and said to Andrew and I, right, disappear, you know, they're going to be a while. We didn't have any concept of how long exactly, you know, that this was going to take. 4.5 hours later, we finally got the call to go down to recovery room. Again, just one of us. So I went down. And I think because we'd got out and we'd gone and had lunch and a coffee and a chat and a walk around Bristol, we were pretty chilled. And I was ready. I was ready to go down and see her. Really ready by 4.5 hours. But some surgery can take longer, so be prepared for a long wait, and you're best out of the hospital, you really are. I was very pleased. I was very pleased to see her. She was proper groggy. She didn't really know I was there. And I was concerned about her coming round without me there, but there was no issue at all. So it was pretty alarming. She had tubes everywhere and was hooked up to monitors, which I wasn't really prepared for. I found that a little bit upsetting. She had a catheter. She had a tube from the epidural site at the back, which is at her lower back, and they keep a little tube out there so they can monitor it. They had little heart monitors, all sorts of things. So be prepared for that. It's not pretty, it's necessary. So we went back up to the ward, and she really just, for the next 24 hours, was in and out of sleep. So, you know, she wasn't interested in food. I managed to get some drink into her. I'd taken some Ella pouches, utterly essential. Take their favourite ones. They don't really want to eat. They feel sick anyway. Clemmy was actually sick a couple of times, probably empty tummy, drugs, etc. But as soon as she came round, after about 24 hours really of being mostly asleep, she was ravenous. And the food they bring you in the hospital isn't great. So have some stuff of your own, have some breadsticks, stuff that you know that they like to eat. The pouches, obviously, and anything else, some bits of fruit, anything that you think might tempt them. Because you know what it's like when you feel a bit sick, you don't really want to eat anything stodgy. And I would say for you, for when you're sleeping there on the fabulous NHS put-up bed next to them, you know, you need jammers, you need a wash bag and things like that. You don't need much else. Take some earplugs though, for God's sake. I don't know what it is about hospitals. They are so noisy, and we had 4 newborn babies around us as well, which takes you back. So earplugs, very, very essential. I had an iPad as well, and headphones, and I watched a film. I couldn't sleep in the night. I was kind of had one eye on Clem anyway. And, you know, make sure you take your own pillow and things like that. Nice to have a couple of creature comforts. I also took some books for Clemmy to read her a story if she woke up scared in the night. And a couple of the nights she did that. She did have, you know, a couple of points where she woke up not knowing where she was, frightened. You know, they've just undergone a major trauma. There's no way around that. The surgery, etc., is a major trauma. And they're going to need you there. I mean, I didn't leave her bedside once. And you know, I didn't want to leave a nurse there to look after her either, because if she woke up and I wasn't there and some stranger was there, that would compound the trauma issue, and I didn't want to do that. So I had a lot of being bursting for the loo and not being able to go until she fell asleep. But that's the way I like to do things. I want to be present and I want to be there for her. So it worked fine, and Andrew would come early the next morning so I could go off and get breakfast. The other thing to note is, because you're not going to leave them and go and sit in a cafe whilst they're there in bed, you know, get hubby to bring some food in, or you bring some food in for hubby. However you want to do it, you've got to rotate it, because being in the hospital, it drives you crackers. You've got to get out. On the we were in 4 days, and on the last day, that's when you need to think about bringing nappies. You've got to bring in your car seat to see if it works. Probably won't. We were very lucky because Clem only had one leg in plaster. We were able to use a conventional car seat, but pad it out. But I'll show you that in another video. But I hope that helps. If I've missed anything out, and I probably have. Oh, I have. Make sure you've got some pin money for the machines. If in the middle of the night you need a cuppa or you need something like that, make sure you've got some coins for the machines. Down in the reception, there were all sorts of machines selling rubbish, mostly, but if you can't sleep, sometimes you just need a bit of a grim, warm cup of tea and a chocolate bar or anything like that. And I didn't have any change, which wasn't very helpful. So do take some stuff with you. I'm going to talk in another video about the car seat and the journey home and that kind of thing. So stay tuned for that. I hope this has been helpful. Again, I'm going to say it again because it's so important. Don't stress about it. It's a process. It's got a start, middle and an end. And as long as you're a little bit prepared, you'll be absolutely fine, and they'll be absolutely fine. I hope this has been helpful. See you again soon.